Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President and co-founder of StartUp Health, Unity Stokes.
Welcome. Welcome to the StartUp Health Festival. What an extraordinary, beautiful room of health transformers. So get cozy because we have an amazing afternoon of special guests, of CEOs, of fireside chat conversations, and it's going to continue all the way through this evening. So I'd like to invite you all to participate throughout the journey today. So I'd like to start by just making a couple of comments. Something magical happens when you bring together a room of people who all care so deeply and passionately about changing the future of health. Something extraordinary happens when people believe that radical change is possible. And this is a room full of people that believe that it's possible to reimagine the future of health. This is a room full of health transformers. This is a room of people that understand that you are all part of the solution of really impacting what we hope will be billions of people's lives, billions of people's health and well-being. So we're going to kick off today with one of my favorite people, my business partner and friend of 20 years, co-founder and CEO of StartUp Health, Stephen Krein.
Thanks, Unity. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Is everybody from out there able to get in? We got it cleared in? So, excellent. I'm honored, incredibly honored to be here with all of you. And they needed to put this barrier up because a lot of people try to get to me often. And so we just wanted to create a little bit of that barrier. But as you probably know from getting in here, we've got an exceptional afternoon planned with not just some special guests that are on the agenda, but also a surprise that's not on the agenda. And a lot of this comes from all really the same place, which is 5.5 years ago in Washington, D.C., at the White House, Unity and I met with President Obama and Vice President Biden to talk about the fact that we're at the beginning of an epic moment. A moment where we can do something that generations of people have attempted to do but not been able to. And it's this very simple notion that we believe together, working as a global army and a organized community, we can together figure out how to improve the health and well-being of everyone in the world. That's a pretty bold statement. Improve the health and well-being of everyone in the world. How possibly can we do that? Well, we had the beginning of a story 5.5 years ago, and this is our 6th year back at JP Morgan. But when we first came, Unity and I were alone, having meetings at a Mexican restaurant up the street, trying to describe how we had this vision. At the time, it was a 10-year vision. It's now morphed into a 25-year vision to organize and support a global army of entrepreneurs. And we named those entrepreneurs health transformers. And we did that for a particular reason. And it was this idea that we believe entrepreneurs and innovators in this sector need to be armed with something very different than just the ambition to build a company or change the world. But it's a mindset that they would need to have and need to embody and need to master. And so, as we've described over the past 5.5, now 6 years, StartUp Health, it's very simply this. We're organizing and supporting a growing global army of health transformers that are all working on big health moonshots. If you look across the room, you'll see the 10 health moonshots that we've identified that all entrepreneurs are working on. Many of them subsets of these moonshots, but imagine hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs all over the world working on their own individual moonshot, but they all kind of come up to be organized around these 10 themes. These 10 themes that over the next 25 years will change the health and well-being of everyone in the world. And as I dissect that and what the impact is, it's very simply this. When you look at 2011, a year after healthcare reform passed, a year after digital health funding began to surpass $1 billion in funding, we saw people talking about the next century. And we kind of scratched our heads and say, why does it take 100 years to do this? Why can't we see this in our lifetime? Why can't we look out 5 or 6 years, like to 2017, and change that trajectory to accomplish and achieve in 25 years what would ordinarily take 100? And it's this very simple idea of this army working together, a single army on a mission to impact the health and well-being of everyone in the world. So I want to break this down into 2 separate parts. One is the army. Startup Health is not just a community. A community is a group of individuals who gather together, maybe work next to each other, maybe have networking events. An army, though, all march to accomplish a specific mission. And it's this idea of defining Startup Health as a global army, a growing global army, that is the key to everyone's success. Not just those in the room, but all future entrepreneurs, innovators, investors, and partners that are going to help these entrepreneurs succeed. So when you break it down, over the last 5.5 years, we have organized an army with 370 entrepreneurs from 17 different countries over 5 continents. This is a global army. This is not just about a transformation happening here in the US. It's not about a transformation happening in Helsinki, Finland, or Tel Aviv. It's this idea that we can work together, compare notes, and figure out what works and what doesn't work, and who's helpful and who's not helpful. And when you look at this army and you start to see now hundreds of entrepreneurs, we recognize that we had to start organizing them into certain regions. So last year in 2015, we launched the first regional network affiliate in Finland called StartUp Health Finland in partnership with the Finnish government and GE Healthcare in Finland. And the idea there was to start organizing the same community there of entrepreneurs and innovators and partners so that we can start to set the stage for regional hubs all around the world. And I was so honored just a couple of months ago to go out to Denver, Colorado and announce the launch of Startup Health Colorado. Where are we in the house? And now I got to call it Startup Health Finland in the house. We got them here too. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. So we got Startup Health Finland, we got Startup Health Colorado, but this is just the beginning. The partners that have selected us and the partners that we've selected are as committed as we are to building this global army and regionally supporting a single mission that we're all on. But I also want to point out the growth of this army. Over the last 5.5 years, 4,500 applications have come in to join Startup Health and the Startup Health movement. Out of those 4,500, we've selected only 180 companies to join the army, but we're on our way to 300 by this time next year. So when I'm on the stage at probably a much bigger venue for the Startup Health Festival, we're going to be celebrating our 300th company. This is going from 0 to 180 companies in a single army working together. Think about the power of that. Thinking about trying to build a company on your own versus being connected to this army. In this army is everything you need. There's people who have backgrounds as entrepreneurs, as clinicians, there's investors, there is access to anything, as you'll see this afternoon, anywhere, any place, at any time. Not through Startup Health, the organization, but from this amazing global army of entrepreneurs. But I want to talk about the people in this army and what makes a person in this army and an organization that's supporting this army unique. And it's this idea of a health transformer mindset. This idea that the entrepreneurs and the partners have to think differently. This is not just an ordinary entrepreneur, an ordinary organization that's going to transform healthcare. They need to have what we call the health transformer mindset. It's 8 mindsets that embody how an entrepreneur not just thinks, but feels and acts. These mindsets, a long-term commitment, surrounding themselves with supportive relationships, developing a quarterly and weekly rhythm for how they actually recalibrate, being confidently ambitious no matter how many times they get knocked down, being self-aware, having healthy habits, being a value creator, and then being what I call my favorite mindset, being batteries included. How many people here are batteries included people? Giving energy versus taking it away. Really? How many people in this room are batteries included? There we go. Mike Baselli. Come on, let's bring it in. These 8 mindsets, believe it or not, might seem very simple, but they're incredibly hard. For any entrepreneur who's tried without a paycheck to start a company and go meeting to meeting being told no, being told why things can't work, being told about all the regulatory and bureaucracy and things that are going to slow them down, but despite that, stay clearly focused on achieving their 25-year mission. But ideally, it's not just this mindset that matters. There's also a startup that they're building that needs to have a mindset too. And the entrepreneurs building these companies need to build a company with a master plan and a master story that talks about how they're going to transform healthcare. And they need to build a backable team and differentiate their business from everything else in the market so people understand what they're building. They need to continually increase the traction because everybody wants to know, how's it going, right? The idea of how is it going, is it working? When you go through in the technology and the business model and the partnerships and the capital they need, everything seems stacked against it. But at Startup Health, being a part of the Army means mastering these mindsets. So you've got the entrepreneur mindsets, you've got the startup mindsets, but entrepreneurs in this sector are also depending on something else that in every other sector, a lot of them don't need to worry about. And that's the partners they choose to work with and the partners that choose to work with them. It's this idea that a hospital CEO who's bought into working with entrepreneurs and startups will make radically more progress than an organization where the CEO has no sense of urgency. And when you look at the model that most of these organizations that want to lean in and support startups look like, and you're going to see some in about 20 minutes that do, they embody a mindset as well. Through the entire thing, believing in startup momentum, believing that they are a champion for entrepreneurs. They're proud to validate, they're proud to learn. They're not skeptics, they're experimenters. They want to learn, and they want to slowly roll out solutions. When you go down and look at value alignment, capability alignment, and then finally a committed team, and then lastly, committed capital. These are 24 mindsets, which could be daunting, but we look at them as the recipe. This is the recipe that we've been building over the last 5.5 years. As you talk to some of the people around the festival over the next couple of days, and you listen to some of the people on stage today and tomorrow, what you're going to see is that the moonshot mindset, this idea that we can do this working together, is not some fairy tale. Every day, these entrepreneurs and these great partners are working very meticulously on working through and reinforcing and supporting this very unique mindset needed to transform healthcare. And these 10 moonshots that all of these entrepreneurs and partners are working on, they're incredible. Access to care moonshots. The idea that you can deliver care to everyone, regardless of location or income. There's entrepreneurs like Ashkan, right in the back, working on that. You actually go to cost to zero and reducing the cost to radically reduce the care by a factor of 1 million. And I'm not talking about a couple of dollars here and a couple of shekels there. I'm talking about radically reducing the cost. When you go through and look at curing disease, And the idea that actually curing disease using data and technology and personalized medicine is happening today, these are the kinds of transformations that are happening. These are not just startups working on a business. These are entrepreneurs on a mission. The cancer moonshots that you're going to be hearing a lot about today discuss the end of cancer as we know it. And this is not about a single moonshot. It's about hundreds of entrepreneurs all around the world working on their own versions of supporting this. Women's health moonshots and prioritizing women's health. Children's health moonshots and actually ensuring that every child has access to care. Nutrition and fitness moonshots, reclaiming food as our ultimate medicine. Brain health moonshots, which is unlocking the mysteries to improve health. And then finally, mental health and well-being and longevity moonshots, adding 50+ years to the life. These are the moonshots that require a mindset, and they require entrepreneurs and partners to work together. And at Startup Health, we've been known for this batteries included, batteries not included thing. This idea that along your journey as an entrepreneur, along your journey as a hospital CEO or a pharmaceutical company CEO, or even someone like a clinician working day to day, having a choice of being either batteries included or batteries not included. And so when Unity and I launched Startup Health, we knew that we were going to have to find the investors and the partners who believe, just like we do, that it's all about the mindset. And I will say without a doubt, this is the best group of investors and most active group of investors we could have asked for. Many of them are here today. Jerry Levin, the former CEO of Time Warner, is our chairman. Nick Turkle, the CEO of Aurora Healthcare. Mark Cuban, Ira Brind, who's also here today. Wayne Kimmel, Esther Dyson, Steve Case. These are not investors who just threw some money in to get a return on investment alone. It was also because every single one of these investors, without fail, has felt the pain of their family or themselves being affected or impacted by the way the healthcare system works today and the way healthcare works today. And they wanted to and believe that it was going to be entrepreneurs who were going to make the impact. And every one of these investors backed Startup Health when there was not one entrepreneur signed up, and they believed. And then it began. And we launched and started bringing in so many great partners to support and believe that the mindset can transform healthcare. As I described, Startup Health Colorado, many of who are here today. Raise your hand, Startup Health Colorado partners. There we go, round of applause. I gotta tell you, we launched, we met actually last year at the festival with Brett from the CU Innovation team, and they said they wanted to launch Startup Health Colorado with us by the end of the year. And we said, we can launch it as quickly as you can. And they said, our goal is by Labor Day, being able to make the announcement and actually get live and launch by October, November. And I am proud to say that unbelievably, 3 different institutions, CU, University of Colorado, Colorado Children's, University of Colorado, and CU Health actually came together and signed a partnership agreement with us to commit to spending the next 3 years commercializing 30 startups inside of their institutions to validate and embrace entrepreneurship. The mindset from the CEOs down, which you're going to hear about in a few minutes, believe that they need to embrace external innovation. They need to work with entrepreneurs. And they partnered with Startup Health and our army to do that. And I'm grateful and honored to be partners with them at Startup Health Colorado. On Startup Health Finland, I've got GE Healthcare Finland, Mikko and Aki, who run Startup Health Finland, and 5 of our Finnish startups here today. But the same thing is happening in Helsinki, Finland. And over the next 12 to 18 months, you're going to see this happening in regions all around the world. And then our leading partners that are helping build our portfolio with us. 4 years ago, we announced at JP Morgan our partnership with GE. And over the last 4 years, we have onboarded 25 startups in partnership and collaboration with GE. And about 1.5 years ago, we announced the same kind of partnership with Aurora Healthcare and their CEO, Nick Turkle, who's somewhere around here. But this morning, we announced our newest custom innovation portfolio. Where's Jorg? Is he in the house? Jorg? all the way in the back, raise his hand. Round of applause for Jorg and Allianz, the biggest insurance company in the world out of Germany, who has partnered with us not just on 1 or 2 moonshots, but on all 10 health moonshots. And we, along with Allianz, are going to onboard 24 companies over the next 2 years with Allianz, just like we have with GE. This is a commitment by not the traditional healthcare partner that you would think, that understands the power of entrepreneurship and the power of working with startups. And then, as you'll hear this afternoon from Bill McDermott, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, we have a big partnership announcement coming from SAP. But this idea really boils down to just a very simple question. Every one of our investors, every one of our partners, and every one of you, we believe, is batteries included. This idea of being batteries included versus batteries not included is the entire key to the whole thing. It's not very difficult. When you sit in front of an entrepreneur and listen to their idea, whether you're considering to work with them, whether you're considering to invest in them, whether you're considering to join them, the big question is, what energy are you putting out? What kind of energy are you giving out? And what kind of energy are you receiving? This idea of building an army of health transformers with great partners is about building a global army, but really a global army that is batteries included, that's going to look at the next 25 years and know without a shadow of a doubt that we're going to transform the health and well-being of everyone in the world by working together. Together, together, together. And I'm going to explain really simply how this works, visually showing you. If you are batteries included and you're not already standing, please stand up. I should have made the batteries not included people stand up. All right, so here's the very simple exercise. Ready? Raise your hand if you feel like you can contribute to this army, be a part of the army, want to help. All right. Link arm in arm with the person to your left and the person to your right. Yeah. Why not? Let's stay up here. You link up with Howard. All right. All right. Here, swing around. I need a little bit of room on this side here. Now, if you're in a row that's not linked, raise your hand if you don't have anybody to your left or to your right right now. Raise your hand if you're on the end of a row. Connect with the row in front of you or behind you. Nobody can be unlinked in this chain. No, I need this link. Sorry, I need this link. You gotta go backwards. Is anybody not in the back room? Are you guys all linked? Okay, look around. Right now, look around. Look to your left, look to your right, look behind you, look in front of you. This idea is simply working together. We can figure this out. None of you can do it alone. We all need to do it together. The impact is about us and our mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and children and everybody that we love. And there has never been a more important mission. There has never been a better time. And I will assure you, you are already a part of it, but the work is just beginning. But we are all together committed to transforming healthcare. This is an army. Don't break the link. Add others to the link. And let's spend the next 2 days showing them how we transform healthcare. Let's make sure we bring this energy and bring this kind of passion to every guest that comes up here. I mean, not be shy, but bring it, and let's make sure that each year when we come back here, not only do we all get together, but we bring others with us. Because it's going to take an army, but over the next 25 years, we are going to impact the world and make this world healthier and better than it is today, and it's because of all of us that are making this happen. Thank you very much. Have a great festival. And that is the kickoff to what I hope is just a little piece of what you're going to experience, beginning with this next panel.